A couple of weeks ago, I had a 3v3 tournament coming up, and truth be told, I don't really own anything meta. So if you don't own anything close to tier 1, what's the next best option? I considered Chimera, but if I'm being truthful, I haven't tested it this format and wasn't confident in any one build, especially because I don't own Nightmare Apprentice. So the next best option in my mind was Swordsoul. It's the deck that I have the most hours in, and with Protoss being legal, I assured myself it was my best option. I also wanted to test the Apple Dragon in the deck as it gives me another way to out Nibiru. Now after all is said and done, did I do good at that 3v3? No, I went X4, but did I have a good time? Yeah, Swordsoul is a super fun deck. The footage in this video is not from that 3v3, but rather from the night before when I needed to record a video and also to test my variant. I'll have a deck profile up on Monday for the list I use in this video, so subscribe to be notified when that comes out. Round 1, I was up against Phil on Vanadium. He won the die roll and went first and set up a board of way too much stuff for me to possibly entertain playing through. I would need an insane amount of board breakers to pull this off, and I didn't even play them. Game 2, I went first and set up a decent board of Crystal Wing, Qixing Longguan, plus I had drawn 2 off of Apple Dragon combo. I passed to Phil and he hits me with Imperm on Crystal Wing, which sucks, but it'd be fine, is what I would say if he didn't chain Droplet and send Imperm. Sure, I could chain Qixing Longguan here to burn him from 1200, but outside of that, I'd have to have drawn a hand trap to stop him here. Luckily for me, I drew Droll, but even luckier for him, he drew Called By. So there was really nothing for me to do here, and I ended up getting OTK'd. Good games to Phil. Round 2, I was up against Millie on Flu. I won the die roll and went first, setting up the god board of Qixiao, Chaofeng, Qixing Longguan, and 2 back row, including Blackout. I pass it on over to Millie and she activates Prosperity, excavating 6 and adding the Flu quick play. On resolution, she activates Unexplored Winds, and there was absolutely no way that I was going to let that resolve, so I chained Qixing Longguan to banish it. If I'm being honest, she didn't have enough resources to play through my board and ended up scooping shortly after passing to me and ended up giving me the match. She just was not feeling like Yu-Gi-Oh that day, but regardless, good games to Millie. Round 3, I was up against Nick on Branded. He won the die roll and went first, and honestly, I have never been happier to see Ash Blossom in my life. Thanks to this, he wasn't able to make a board. Oh my god! Sorry, that really frightened me. If I'm being honest, my hand cannot play through an Imperm, so I decided to grab Taya with Emergence over something like Moye, since I could use Taya's effect on following turns if I got that far. I normal summon Taya and use this effect only to get Impermed as expected. I just have to pass and pray I don't lose to top deck Branded Fusion. Luckily for me, Nick goes to his main phase and normal summons Edgem Chain, so I know I'm in the clear. He heads to the battle phase and swings with Edgem Chain and declares his attack declaration effect. Honestly, I didn't know he had an effect on attack declaration, but I'm so happy he does. His effect adds another copy of itself from deck to hand, and when it crashes into Taya, he adds Patchwork. The reason I'm happy about this is because he searched his second copy of Chain, he isn't actually able to activate Patchwork as he only plays 2 copies. This leads to me snowballing on my next turn, and when I drop Protoss, he scoops. Game 2, he goes first, and while he doesn't open Branded Fusion, he's still able to end on a board of Grand Goognol and Dramaturge. I start off my turn by special summoning Ashina, and on summon, Nick chains Great Googly Moogly's effect to special summon either a Dogmatica card from main deck or a Despian from the extra deck. I ash this to avoid getting hit with any avoidable nonsense, and from here, the game's a wrap. I have the Tenyi line to secure a way around Nibiru, and Vashuda gets rid of Dramaturge. From there, I can normal summon Moye, make Qixiao, summon Protoss, and push for lethal. Good games to Nick. Round 4, I was up against a new player at Easy Gaming named Jeremiah, who was playing Harpies. He won the die roll and I braced myself for a Featherstorm. Fortunately for me, it never came. Jeremiah ended on an end board that didn't really do much, and honestly, I felt really bad explaining to him what Protoss did. Game 2 went very similarly. He told me afterwards that he hadn't played the game since 2002, and it's always interesting to think about how the game has changed in terms of mechanics and playstyles. Regardless, good games to Jeremiah. So while I may have done awful at the actual 3v3 the following day, I had a blast bringing out Swordsoul for another weekend. Any excuse to make a video about one of my favorite decks is an excuse I'll take, and I did end up liking the Apple Dragon in this deck too. While it only came up a few times, it gave me an extra boost that helped me play through things like Imperm when otherwise I wouldn't have been able to. I just think it's neat. But that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe. Like I said at the beginning, I'll have a deck profile up for this build on Monday, so stay tuned for that. And if you want a sick playmat like mine, head on over to GrimoireAccessories.com and use code GOKI5 for 5% off your entire order. But with that, my name is Gokizemi, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!